Hello and welcome. Today my heart is a little heavy with this particular email in question, and the reason for that is because it's really a classic um question, or it's like several paragraphs of just kind of a journey into having hair that she thought was great, and then hair that just seemed to go away, and now there are problems. So I just want to speak on this because I think it's really important, and I'm going to share it, but I'm not going to share her name or the images that she sent me. But let's get started. She said here, that was in the pic, so we'll go on and take that out because she talked about how her hair was 4 years ago in the picture, and it was past her shoulder. She said that I am 27 years old, and it is a tremendous pleasure finding someone in research online that can at least give me hope unrelated to extensions and relaxers. Regarding my hair issues, this is really important, and I'm just going to highlight this because the thing is, we have been taught, really, I'm just going to put that in red. We have been taught online, YouTube, and so on, protective styles. You have to have protective styles in order to have hair, and that's simply not true. And this story just kind of exposes some of the things that I've been speaking of. She said, regarding her hair issues, I suffer with extensive hair breakage, thinning at the ends, and she called it shedding as well. I would like to know, what could I attempt to do to regain healthy and strong hair from scalp to end? That is such a great request from so many. Now, so what she's saying is that she has hair, but it's just not healthy, and she wants it healthy. And a ponytail, excuse me, and a potential hair regimen which could help me achieve my goal. I do live in Florida, and she mentioned some things that she's not able to come in person. However, she wanted to send some strand samples, and the reason I allowed this portion was because I do want you to know, when you speak about sending strand samples to me, then there is a clear way on my website where you can send those in. She said she will send hair samples via mail, instructed on the website, but she was unsure of how to actually package those and collect those strands. Basically, you want to just use a Ziploc bag and you can collect your samples. Remember that you want different sections of the head, and you just kind of take your fingers through, and you take the section in the back, a section on the sides, and the section in the crown. That will be really good, especially with your situation and with me seeing your pictures. That will be good. Put each one in a Ziploc bag. You can label them on the outside. Don't put a paper towel or tissue on them. Just on wrap them. Some people wrap their hairs in tissue and paper towel. So when I try to open the bag up, I end up losing some of the strands, and I don't want that to happen. I can actually put the microscopic lens on the surface of the bag and sometimes read through the bag. But if I have to pull them out, then I can be careful not to pull them and accidentally throw some away if there's nothing around it. Okay, so she's going to tell me a little bit about her hair regimen. She also mentioned the paid Skype consultation. Well, there's a lot we can do, and we can see about that. But right now, I try to reach out at no charge. Like, I'm going to do some things with Google Hangouts, some other things where I can help you guys out, possibly Skype, but we'll just take a look. I think that I may be able to help you without that. So let's just see. We want to read those strings, and then we're going to go from there. Okay, so with that, she said her history growing up, she was told that she had very thin and brittle hair, but a lot of it. Early in her late teens, she relaxed her hair but suffered with scalp burns and hair loss. My hair went from shoulder length to Halle Berry short during that time. Interesting. You know, Halle Berry wears a really short, cute look by design and by choice, but it's something that if you had shoulder length and then you lost hair. Other things, I want to go on and stop and kind of park here for just a second. Growing up, I was told I had very thin and brittle hair, but a lot of it. So a lot of that may just be how the person who was caring, your hair care person, whether your mom or sister or a stylist, that's how they perceived your hair. So I'm not really sure what they meant with that. Like brittle would say it felt dry, thin. I'm not really sure what they mean by that. That could be the texture, meaning size of the strand. But your samples will help me a lot with how to move forward. She mentioned about relaxing the hair and suffer with scalp burns and hair loss. When the hair is relaxed, this is why so many are running from relaxers, because when the hair is relaxed, if you're not careful, let's go back up. Well, if you're not careful, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up losing hair because your hair is over processed, because we're trying to get it as straight as possible. And then when you relax hair and it's left on the scalp longer than the scalp can tolerate, then it begins to wear into the epidermis and eventually into the dermis area, or down to the basal right before the dermis, where the pain receptors will respond, and then you end up with scalp burns. I can tell you right away that if you continue those kinds of things, and this is not to you, I'm just speaking to other individuals because you have moved away from relaxers. If you continue with burns, then you are going to suffer from permanent hair loss. Those of you who are out there who wear relaxers and you're burning with relaxers. So we want it, that'll be another. I invite any of you out there to ask more specific questions about relaxers, and I'll be happy to kind of go over that with you. But I want to get back to these questions here. Okay, and just by the way, too, lastly about relaxers shouldn't burn. So if you have a problem with burning with the relaxer, then that means that your scalp has gotten sensitive, and a sensitive scalp, just translated, just means a damaged scalp. And again, there is a way to have relaxers without burning. She said, when I turned 21, I stopped relaxing my hair and went natural. And for 3 years, I began to, for the first time ever, shampoo my hair 2 times a week with deep condition moisturizing. And I did, then she said, I did slack off with the ends trimming. Remember, end trimming is not necessary. You don't necessary. You don't have to trim your ends. You have two options with trimming. You can treat or trim. The reason why stylists or most believe that trimming is something you should do is because the ends have the wear and tear on them, and if you don't cut them away, they'll split into the healthier hair. But if you treat them each day, taking on your forefinger and thumb, sliding a small amount of moisturizer and sealing it with oil, and just in several sections so that you can be sure you have even distribution and product placement, then you won't have to trim. But if you don't treat, you will have to trim, or you will have that problem. So just remember that. Now, trimming also will be good if you're trying to achieve a certain shape. She said, amazing though, my hair grew just past my shoulder as seen, and she gave me a picture. However, 2 years ago, she said she went on a break. She wanted to take a break from her hair maintenance and began wearing sew-ins every month for a year. Now, I think that sew-ins they're like a good thing that's gone bad. Braids are a good thing going bad. Sew-ins are just a good thing that's gone or going bad, because there was folks that was, when they went natural, just a group of individuals who decided that we were going to, many group of women that decided when they went natural that they would wear protective styles like sew-ins. So sew-in, that did emerge. Yeah, there was an emergence of that. It just began, people began to really rise up and do these sew-ins because that was the way to go if you're going to wear natural. But sew-in is a low maintenance, not zero maintenance. And when she said she suffered extensive breakage, and she called it shedding. Most likely it was just breaking and layer peeling, because layer peeling looks like shedding. but it doesn't have a bulb on the end, just remember, if it doesn't have a bulb, a club-like tissue on the end of that strand, then it's not shedding. And if there's only a few with that bulb, then most likely it's just natural shedding. Okay, then she said, want to say, it began to thin a lot. And see, currently her hair is now back above her shoulders, and she sent a picture, and she stopped wearing her sew-ins and don't plan to do that anymore. But she would like to regain healthy, strong hair, but she does not know how to do it, and how to tackle this. She My response would be greatly appreciated, and so on. And she said, P.S. Lots of hair is in the shower, and she just sent me some pictures of how the hair is all in the shower and the sink and things like that. Okay, so what do we do about this? First, the good news is, based on your pictures and me just glancing, your follicles are still functioning because you have hair. I'm a trichologist, and one of the things that is very horrific for a lot of patients is that when they find out they've destroyed their follicles and their hair won't emerge, and it's just, it won't grow anymore. Your hair is growing. There's something that what it appears to be, that there may be a problem with the body of the shaft based on what appears to be a texture change. Looks like your strands are one size at the close to the scalp, and as they move out toward the body of the shaft and the ends, they appear to be a lot smaller. So what I'm going to do is view your strands, and I'm going to make sure that I give you specifics. I'll give you pictures of those strands microscopically viewed, and I will show you whether you have lost layers or your cortical fibers are exposed, or what's going on that's causing this breakage. And then we're going to put together a plan to reverse all of this. You're going to be okay, dear. You will be okay, and you will have hair past your shoulders yet again. I promise. I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor. Make sure you send those strand samples in. Remember to put them front. You want the crown area, the frontal area, your weakest area, just sliding your fingers out. You don't have to cut your hair. And the back of the head, just different sections, label them, put them in a Ziploc bag. Make sure you fill out the entire form. There is a fee for that, as you saw, and just send that in, and then I will give you a response. I have generally a several week waiting period, but you will get your response. And if you've already sent it in, then it is on the list to get back to you. Thanks again. God bless you. No worries. We're going to get through this. Have a blessed, wonderful day, morning or evening. Talk to you real soon. Bye bye.